Well, thank you very much for having me. My name is Chad. I head up global marketing communications at Revolut. I've been at the company since employee number 30, so when we were about 40,000 customers. And within that 2.5-year time frame, we've sort of, alongside a very talented team, we've now, as of this week, hit 6 million customers across Europe. Thank you. What a champion. We're now in a point where we're opening, on average, what I would say on a bad day, 12,000 new accounts daily, and that currently equates to about 4 million customers a year, which is amazing, but equally scary at the same time. And I think what I want to talk to you today, I'm not standing up here proclaiming to be a 360-degree expert of here's the entire list of trends that you're going to see in fintech. What I'm going to do is show you what I believe, what we're working on internally, what we believe will be the future trends of not just fintech, but financial services, based on our products and services and how we're modeling our business. And then sort of finish it off by talking what I hope will become future trends. I think often fintechs talk about the markets they want to go to. You know, these are the glamorous markets, your USs, your Asias, where they can make money and build exciting products. I think what we also have to do is sort of take a step back and appreciate that there's a lot that fintech can do for good. And I'll talk through a couple of examples that we're working on at the minute. Before I deep dive into it, I do a lot of these things. I travel around, do a lot of speaking, and there's always one comedy genius. Full disclosure, I'm very aware I sound like Shrek. We're definitely in London. So the first one I want to talk to, these are not in a particular order, but it's ultimately where I believe our business model is going. So I want to sneak in a few different things there in terms of products and services, how fintechs are going to make money, at least how we are, to give you a much sort of clearer picture all around of the business. So the first one I want to talk about is the idea of financial control centers. You'll hear lots of different buzzwords that describe this sort of model. It's a model that's often frowned upon. The question I continuously get is, you know, why would people want to do everything on one app, right? Because at the minute, when you speak to people, they've got one app for their banking, they've got one app for their cryptocurrencies, they've got one app for their stocks and trading. They end up having about 5 or 6 apps on their phone for doing different aspects of financial services. What Revolut's goal is a one-stop shop. Why would you need to have 5 apps on your phone when you have one brand that you fully trust, has perfect UI and UX, and you know you'll continuously get the best rates, whatever you're doing? And that's what we're doing at the minute. So as of last year, Revolut was granted a European banking license. We're now looking to passport that all across our European markets in the very near future, so we transition into fully functioning bank accounts. We recently, depending on where you sit on this, we've recently launched the ability to buy, hold, and sell cryptocurrencies instantly. You got the whiskey? No? Oh, sorry. We're now pushing in insurance, looking at mobile phone insurance, overseas medical insurance, flights and luggage delays, bringing in things like airport lounges as well. We're now in the position of building a couple of other things, which I'm going to touch on soon. But obviously what we see with Revolut now is more and more customers, almost the majority, using us every single day. Now that was the hardest job I had at Revolut. I arrived in, we've branded ourselves as a travel card. Everyone's using us as a travel card. Change this. So we had to sit down, really review the product from start to finish and start building products and features that people would actually want to use every single day. Some of the things we've done, of course, with Revolut, you can get, I'm trying not to do a sales plug, but you can see every single week and month what you're spending on things like restaurants, groceries, and transport. You can set monthly spending budgets in any of those categories. You can round up your card payments to the nearest pound and stash your spare change in a separate savings wallet, so you're just spending and saving. Instant peer-to-peer payments, so splitting bills with friends or family. We're now bringing in more day-to-day banking services, so of course we're looking at doing overdrafts, personal and business loans, and various other else. So I do believe this is a trend. You're now seeing other fintechs talk the same way. You know, they went from being, you know, we just want to beat the banks, we want to be the best current account in the world, they're UK only, and now they're changing and saying, actually, we want to expand globally, we really want to start integrating brand new aspects of financial services into our product. I think what I'm pleased to say is, in my view, although I'll sound biased, Revolut's leading the way in this area, and there's more to come. So I think you're going to see less apps, you're going to see certainly less banks, and you're going to see more fintech apps expanding their horizon. One thing I do a lot is advise, because you know there's this misconception that fintech's all about product and dev, right? But ultimately, if no one's talking about your product and dev, you're not growing, right? So I think when you look at Revolut, your Monzos, your N26s, a huge reason of their growth is down to their growth teams for actually getting that message out there. So it doesn't matter how good your data scientists are and your engineers are. So I'm actually quite pleased that conferences are now listening to that and trying to get the real stories as to how these companies grow and not just thinking it's down to CTOs and CDOs and things like this. The next one is bundle accounts. This is quite a good question. Folk always say to me, look, oh yeah, but you're not making any money. Particularly the traditional bankers, right? They'll walk in rooms, you're not making money. And it's true, to an extent. We are making money. What they mean is you're not profitable, right? But that's not the goal. And unfortunately, these bankers are typically so closed in traditional financial services, they don't understand anything but making money. Right? So what we tried to do is take a tech model in financial services. Now, I won't bore you with this. You all know the stories of your Airbnbs, your Amazons, and how you go through that burn rate. As long as your costs are coming down, your revenues are going up, and your acquisition and expansion is going up, you're on a very healthy line. Right? And that's what Revolut's doing. I'm pleased to say that every single year we're reducing our costs. For the last 3 years, we've increased our revenues 5-fold. That will be the same again. And a big reason for this is the idea of bundle accounts. Now, we've all had bank accounts coming to us, being like, Chad, pay $6.99 per month. We're going to give you this, we're going to give you that. They haven't once asked you what you want. They've told you, we've just put this stuff together, pay a monthly fee, we'll give it to you. We took a different approach, which is we actually tried to speak to our customers and say, if we were to charge you for an account, what would you want? And one thing that was continuous is the world's becoming more interconnected, right? We're traveling more than ever, young, medium, old. And there's not really an account designed for that, in my opinion. So when it came to our premium and metal accounts, any hands up? Anyone got a premium or a metal account? Few legends, well done. But it's a subscription model. So it's the same when you look at Netflix, it's the same when you look at Amazon Prime, very profitable revenue. So it's guaranteed, it's locked in, it's 12 months cash flow, right? And you're continuously earning money from customers. So we said to them, what do you want? Of course, Revolut's renowned for being able to spend and transfer money globally at the real exchange rate, right? That was obvious. What we found is these people wanted more. They wanted to walk in, sort of like an Amex style, you could say. They wanted to walk into an airport lounge and tap and get it straight in at wholesale rates. So when you look at an airport lounge, you're looking sort of 25 quid on average to get into a decent one. We sort of brought that down by half to about 15, 16 quid, so people could get straight in. We launched overseas medical insurance covering health, dental, flight, and luggage delays. So no matter where you are in the world, we launched things like a personal concierge service. A lot of our customers said, build something AI that just books tickets on our demand. We tell you what we want, how much we want to pay, do that. And we've got some really more exciting things coming. So I won't give the exact number, but we now have hundreds of thousands of customers on paid subscription. And our goal as we go forward is to have that at 50%. So half of our customers are on paid subscriptions. We'll always retain our free accounts. Revolut is not one of those companies that lures you in with something free and then shuts it down. We're going to keep that, but our goal is to make our premium and metal accounts so good and so diverse in terms of what you get that you'd think to yourself, why wouldn't I upgrade and pay for that? You'd want to pay for it. And I think you're going to see this more often. You've now seen other fintech companies doing the same as Revolut. So you saw N26 launch their, I think it's Black accounts or something like that. You've seen Monzo now launch their Plus accounts. And it's something that you're going to see a lot more of in financial services generally. And I think it's equally... People often say to me, like, are you at war with the banks? Are you this? I don't believe we are, right? I think one thing that fintech will set trends, banks will inevitably copy it. You're already seeing it, and for me, that's not a bad thing. You can often look back and be a bit frustrated that your UX and your UI is being copied, but ultimately the consumer wins, right? There is plenty of room in the market. So this is going to be a huge thing towards us as we steer towards profitability, but equally it will be a trend that will set in fintech and financial services generally. Millennials will embrace stocks. Now, this is the most exciting thing I'm looking forward to, and it's coming very, very soon, as Revolut will be launching commission-free stock trading in the whole of Europe. At the minute, Americans are still pretty prominent on their stocks. They're far more savvy in this area. Europeans are well below. In fact, we found out that 78% of millennials have never traded stocks before, and the two main reasons that they've cited are cost and poor user experience. So what we've done, which is really interesting here, is it's commission-free, right? So here's how that model works with profitability. For standard customers, we'll give you a certain amount of trades for free, right? And anything over that, you'll have to upgrade. Right? Really smart. Now, when you look at the average person, they only make about 2 trades per month. So we'll make sure it's still very appealing from a standard basis. But for example, if you're a Revolut Metal customer, you may get unlimited trades, commission free. The other side of it is, now this is where I think millennials in particular will really embrace it, is the access is limited. When I speak to most people who are sort of my age, sort of late 20s, and I say, what companies do you want to invest in? It's what you'd expect, right? It's Amazon, it's Uber, it's Google. And then you look at hold it high, and then you look at the cost of these stocks, you're looking up north of $1,000 per share, right? So there's a huge shut out there where people just cannot afford these options. Revolut is going to be the first company ever to launch fractional shares in Europe. So what that means... What that means is, I'm going to bring you more. He's no set up. I haven't brought him here, by the way. So what that means is you'll be able to buy as little as $1 worth of Apple stocks, $1 worth of Spotify stocks, Slack stocks, any company like that. Never been done before. So that barrier to entry is now cut out. So I think at the minute, when we've surveyed, we've got lots of raw data to work with here, millennials, you know, what you do with your money. It's the same thing every single time. It's savings accounts. It doesn't even match inflation, right? So they're sat there thinking they're making money, sticking it in their savings account. You ask them what an ISA is, they have absolutely no spot-on idea. So we believe this is something that, while there's capital at risk, while you have a huge obligation to educate your audience and make them aware of what the risks are of trading, ultimately, I believe this is something that in Europe we can really sort of introduce to large millennial audiences as what may potentially be a more savvy way to put their money aside. So coming very, very soon in all of our live countries all over the European economic area. And I think the other thing I should say as well of why this is great for any of you who understand stocks and trading is we lock the trade in real time. A lot of companies batch it until the end of the day, 4 or 5 p.m., and then lock it in. We lock it in when you lock it in. So what that means is a lot of people maybe buy a stock at 10 a.m., and then by 4 p.m. it's changed, right? So they're not actually getting the rate that they think they are. We're eliminating that, and you get it in real time, full transparency, which is incredible. Financial borders will be no more. I'm conscious I've got 3 minutes. Now, this is something generic, right? Let's be honest, it's often bullshit. It's just marketing and buzzwords and noise like this. We've just launched our first international market. Any Australians? One at the back. We've just launched in Australia, which is really exciting. Now, in the coming months, we're launching the US, Canada, Singapore, Japan, and Hong Kong, looking at a few more. But what this means is international remittance are instant. Again, so I often walk in rooms, people are like, yeah, it is already. No, it's not. If you want to send money from the UK, for example, to the States, Singapore, Australia, you're looking on average somewhere probably between 2 to 3 days for that money to go from end to end, right? Depends who you use. But what we've done, and this is great for my team for growth, is if you're on Revolut in the UK and your business partner, your family, your friends on Revolut in Australia, it's like sending a peer-to-peer payment. You can, in 28 currencies, you can send money worldwide instantly in the tap of a button, no fees. So you don't even need this whole real exchange rate, there's no fees. And when we launch in the US, the same again. When we launch in Singapore, the same again. Money is moving instantly, peer-to-peer, cross-border. Never been done. It makes a lot of these international money transfer services, I won't name names, but irrelevant anymore. And from a growth perspective, it's amazing because you're sat in the UK going, I'm on Revolut, I'm sending someone there, I'm going to get them on Revolut. And our customers start to actually build our growth for us because that referral becomes far more appealing. Genuine customer care. This is something I've worked incredibly hard at Revolut. It wasn't easy. We were growing incredibly fast. And sometimes Revolut got a bit of a hard game. And I'm straight talking Scotsman, right? I don't believe in bullshit. And you see this, all these companies being like, we have the most amazing customer service. Yes, because you're UK only and you've got 800,000 customers, right? But ultimately, we've had the challenge of scaling to 31 European markets where cultures and languages and everything is different, right? Financial landscapes and regulations are different to an extent. So it's been much harder for us. The first one we did was, having our customers back. And banks don't do this, but I'm convinced they will because I'm meeting a lot of senior sort of customer experience people at banks, and they really genuinely care about this stuff and are trying. They're just struggling to get it done. But I'll give you an example. When Ticketmaster and British Airways, 45 seconds. British Airways and Ticketmaster got hacked. I think that we instantly went on our systems and found about 70,000 Revolut customers who'd made a payment during that time period without even them asking us, right? We instantly did it through our financial crime team. We instantly froze all their cards on their behalf and sent them instant communication to say why we've done this. You can unblock it and simply go and spend as you will, but at your own risk, because your details have been leaked. Most customers were like, nope, send me a new card. Thank you so much for doing this on my behalf. I had no idea, hadn't even seen on the news that Ticketmaster, BA had all been hacked. So we're starting to do very automated processes like this to instantly detect situations going on in the world that could affect our customers. We confirm they affect our customers and we take the appropriate action. The second one I'm going to quickly go is just speaking in plain English. We've shared our tone of voice guidelines with all of our customers in the industry. We try and speak to our customers not like they're idiots. We give plain, simple English, and I hope that's something we start to see more in financial services, because in my view, it hasn't changed in the last 4 years since I've been at Revolut. The last little bit, I'm all right if I've got 1 or 2 minutes just to go over, is just fintech for good. These are trends I hope just take place. The first one is, I mean, someone touched on it before, but it's bank the unbank. I mentioned all those very nice markets that we're expanding into. We're now actively looking at parts, particularly of South America and Africa, where we could launch our services, not with the goal of taking on the industry and championing and making money, but in the idea of actually providing financial services to people who currently do not have access. So this is something that we are behind the scenes actually looking at as we speak. It's very tough because of regulation and corruption and various different things that exist in these parts of the world. But what we find is that people have smartphones, but they don't have bank accounts. So of course, Revolut can facilitate that gap. So hopefully this year we'll have some more solid news to make in this area. The last one is integrations with good causes. I don't know if anyone heard of Revolut donations this week. Nope, not doing a good job, are you, Chad? Well, basically, we launched, now hear me out, we launched these new rainbow cards, right? Now, everyone's blinded by rainbow this week, right? It's all over Twitter. Every corporate company's talking about how diverse and inclusive they are because they changed their Twitter photograph, right? What we're trying to do is, we wanted something. We know our customers love design. They love nice things, right? So we did this for a way to people express themselves, to show their support, whatever they did. For what it's worth, they sold out in 24 hours, right? They were free as well. But what we did at the same time is we partnered with a charity called ILGA Europe, who's one of the leading LGBT plus charities in the world, and they actually lobby government to get things like being gay taken off the Mental Health Act and things like this. So they're actually doing real good. And what we did is every customer can round up their, remember I spoke about that round up card payment and save your spare change? You can round up your card payment and instantly donate it to ILGA Europe, the WWF, or Save the Children. These are the 3 charities that we've started with. We're going to extend that. I hope to localize it across Europe so people can choose their charity, which I think is quite a powerful thing. But those 3 charities covering LGBT, human rights, child poverty, the environmental issues, round up your spare change, instantly donate it right to those charities. Full transparency, you can see what you've donated in total, what our customers have donated in total, and we don't charge our partner during the transfer stage any fees. They get 100% of the amount donated. And I'm pleased to say that on the first day, over £10,000 was raised for charity. That's now about £60,000 after a few days. So this is stuff I hope will set trends where it's not just about saying you do good things and saying you support these causes, but how through technology you can actually make a difference and try and make a change. I'm going to stop. I've gone over. I think I've got questions, but thank you very much for having me.